There's no way a 21-year-old kid can teach you anything about trading. Do you know why? Because I was a 21-year-old kid who used to trade. To get to the point where you can say and have the fuck you money, you have to endure a lot of suck. Your 20s are gonna suck. They have to suck. You know why? Because most people who spend their 20s drinking, partying, and doing god awful things, it looks like fun. Trust me, it looks like fun. But you have a hindsight of being an older fuck like me, who's 40 years old. You can see what happens with these people when they're 40. They never level up. They kind of stuck. They plateau in their 20s. So if you want to be a winner, you have to embrace the suck. That means when you have the most amount of energy, the most amount of testosterone and the drive, you have to maximize your ability to make a shit ton of money, whether it's through trading or entrepreneurship or whatever you want to do with your life. Since it's a trading channel, we talk about trading. So with trading, yes, the first 2-3 years of your trading career is going to suck fucking big balls. All right. It's going to suck. And it's good because that's how you develop thick skin. That's how you develop tenacity to keep pushing. Nothing like this business which will make you crawl into a little fucking ball and just lay in a bed, curled up in the fetal position like this business. So a lot of you, I was one of you when I was in my 20s. I was, well, earlier than that, in my teens too. I was the guy who chased the money. All right, plain and simple. Meaning, I was, I'm from New York. In New York, you either become a doctor, accountant, or a Wall Street guy, or a lawyer. I couldn't give a fuck about being a lawyer, dealing with the fucking law bullshit. So that was the question. All my family there from medical background, so I said, no fucking way. I'm not gonna memorize some Latin names for bones. Get the fuck out of here. So the natural transition was the Wall Street, and it was on Wall Street. You don't save lives. You're not a doctor, all right? You're not a heart surgeon saving somebody's life. That's okay. But on Wall Street, you can make a shit ton of more money than a doctor, and you can buy his house, the house next to him, and, swing your big dick around. So that helps a little bit. Un poquito. But to get to the point where you can say and have the fuck you money, you have to endure a lot of suck. And my 20s sucked because I had to work 18-hour days, at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, back home, and at 6, you're back in the office. Doesn't matter. You have to be there, back. That's it. And that was old school way though. But the point being is, a lot of 20-year-old kids, they see all this bullshit on Instagram, and they see all these kids as like in Miami or New York or whatever. Mostly in Miami. I'm from New York, but I live in Miami, and you see all these fake influencers, and they with their rent-a-cars. And by rent-a-cars, I don't mean that they're renting a car for a day. By rent-a-car, I mean they actually they get into a finance details where somebody who actually knows about something about finance fucks them in the ass. One of those people is like Wes Watson. He's trying to sell his Bugatti, and because he didn't want to admit that he is selling it because he's underwater, he had the dealer change the color, Photoshop the color on his Bugatti. There's plenty of these stories in Miami where all these fake influencers, they try to pretend to be somebody. So don't fall for that bullshit. In order for you to become actually successful, you have to put in the work. You have to have the trigger time. There's no way a 21-year-old kid can teach you anything about trading. Do you know why? Because I was a 21-year-old kid who used to trade. While I was on Wall Street and from New York, I didn't know dick from fuck. So how the fuck some fucking retard level moron in Miami or fucking some other city will, who's 22. What the fuck is he gonna teach you about trading? Nothing. The only thing you should concern yourself about is discovering ways of accumulating wealth. And if you want to do it through a vehicle called trading, you could do that because it's one of the very few elevators that still work upstairs. Why? Because it's extremely fucking difficult. That's why. Most people will sell you a course and will tell you that this is very easy and, pay me $500, $100, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000. Doesn't matter. Pay me and I'll teach you how to trade. And this video is for the people who actually spend some time trading, and you see this is the most easiest, hardest way of making money, which is a paradox, right? Why is it the most easiest looking thing? Because all you have to do is buy or sell. And when you actually start doing it, you figure out very fucking fast that it's extremely difficult. So the motherfuckers who stand the test of time, they have been so tenacious and they embraced the suck for so long that the universe had to give up and call uncle and say, all right, this motherfucker can have millions of dollars. That's what it takes for an individual to get to that very restricted airspace. The airspace is called rich fucks. So you want to be a rich fuck, and I wanted to be a rich fuck. I didn't come from a wealthy background or anything like that, so I had to make my own shit. What most of you don't realize, this is the sweetest victory that you can ever taste. The fact that you come from nothing and you can achieve everything, boy oh boy, it enlarges your schlong by 20 inches, 100% guaranteed. But that point aside, you have to embrace the suck in your 20s. In your 20s, when you are trading as a 20-year-old and learning how to trade, you have an unlimited amount of energy compared to somebody who's in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. The whole business of trading is very simple. You're competing against somebody like me. I've been doing it for 20 years. How long you been doing it? Who the fuck is gonna do a better job? You or me? Obviously, right? Me. So for you to compete with somebody like me, you have to put in a lot of hours. And the way you do it is, and again, it's not that it's only against me or whatever. It's just you have to put in hours to gain the unconscious competence. So first of all, when you start out anything in this life, you have no clue, which is incompetence. You had no clue about it, meaning it was inside of your brain, which is unconscious. So then you discover trading when you're 20s and you want to take, spin the fucking wheel. That's fine. That's what I did with my life. And what I did not expect about my life is very simple. I did not expect that it will take that amount of effort. It was something that took longer than expected, which is actually a statistical thing for people who are trying to be entrepreneurs. And most entrepreneurs, they when they ask the same question, if you knew how much shit it would take for you to become a millionaire, you wouldn't want to deal with that many of issues, because it's very hard. And that's why you should dedicate your 20s towards doing the hard, because you have no obligation. You have zero costs to your living, most of you. So the best thing you could do is, instead of being like everybody else who goes to college, which is a scam, and become a wage slave where you're trading, they're paying you just enough so you don't fuck off, and you barely do just enough so they don't fire you. The thing is, when you're in your 20s, you have no perspective of what the fuck happens when you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s. And when you turn an old fuck like me in my 40s, what you notice is all these cocksuckers who were fucking flaunting their, I'm $100,000 salaries in their 20s, they're making $150. I make $150 in 1 week of trading, if not more. So, but for 10 years, I had to embrace the suck. From my 20s to my 30s, I had to embrace the suck. I had to persevere through depression, blowing your brains out, crawling into bed, markets unfair, the liquidity providers are grabbing my stops. Once you go through all that adversity, you realize the universe has no choice but to grant you your wish. And if your wish is to become a millionaire or decamillionaire or centimillionaire, whatever, $100 million, whatever you want to be worth, it takes effort. But very few people can give up their drinking on a Friday or Saturday with their boys, with their mates, towards actually dedicating, being laser beam focused on becoming a successful trader. The whole prop firm industry is kind of changing the landscape. And the reason for that is, well, it's very simple, because in 2020, 21, everybody wanted to be a trader because it looked very simple. They saw an ad on Instagram where somebody who's driving a very nice car, wearing a nice watch, whatever, is telling them, okay, I'll teach you in 30 days how to become, whatever, a gazillionaire, right? And everybody's like, oh, okay, all right. Well, it's fucking COVID. I'm sitting at home. There's nothing to do, jerking off, whatever. So most of these people tried their hand in trading, right? And what they didn't realize is that trading is extremely fucking difficult. Like any other fucking sphere in making money, where you can make a shit ton of money. If you want to be a successful lawyer, accountant, engineer, you have to go to school for like a zillion fucking years. One of the very few industries where you don't have to go to school, but it will take you 2 to 3 years of sucking, but the payoff is worth it. And that's the point. I was doing lives and somebody asked, Stan, how do I fucking live with myself? Like all my boys are having drinks, all my friends are partying, fucking bitches, this and that. And I told them, listen, the fact that you are embracing the suck is gonna make sure that your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, 70s, you're gonna spend like a fucking champ. Most people spend their 20s drinking, partying, fucking, doing drugs, whatever. And they accomplish dick from fuck. Meaning, by the time they're 30, 40, they're just fat, bald, and stupid. And making $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000. Woo! But $300,000 is something you can take on a trade in one day. And if you embrace the suck and you suffer and you go into monk mode for 2 to 3 years, you can buy yourself. You buy yourself all these toys, all this bullshit. You will be making somebody's yearly salary at least in a month. Some people make it in a day. Some people make it in a week, but at least a month. So this is why you should embrace the suck. If you dedicate 2-3 years of your life towards doing something that sucks, meaning it's difficult, that it doesn't suck, it is difficult, you'll be ahead of 99% of the population. And I'm just telling you, relating this message to you very simply because I have the hindsight of being an old fuck. And I've seen how all these, people who spend their 20s doing one thing, and I see where they are right now, and I see where I am right now. And I can see that they're miserable because they have to answer to somebody. They have no freedom. It doesn't matter how much money you make. You can make 1 million or 10 million or 100 million. But I can guarantee you do this for 2-3 years, you will have more freedom than these fuckers for the entirety of their lives. So why don't you do yourself a favor? For the next 2-3 years, you go in a monk mode. You go in a mode of, I will make this happen for me. And that will allow you to live your life. You will live your life a lot better when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s. Trust me. You'll be in better shape. In your 30s, you'll look good. You can do whatever you wanted to do when you're 21 or 25. Trust me. But now you can actually afford it. The point being is, if you want to live the life that you see on Instagram, embrace the suck for 5 years. It's like, it's either you suffer from the discipline of the gym, or you be a fat fuck and you suffer the regret of being a fat fuck. I can promise you, you will be on another planet from all your peers that are now making salaried, wagey, fucking bullshit money. And when you're in your 30s or 40s, it becomes so obvious and funny. You start hanging out with the other 40-year-olds, 30-year-olds who made it. And most of the people who actually did not follow this path, and they, oh, it's happy hour, it's Friday, whatever the fuck it is on Fridays, right? That means you just work for somebody, you build that business, and you are so happy that it's Friday that you drink yourself to death to forget about the bullshit, about how miserable your life is. Forget about it. That's a stupid way of making money. It's a stupid way of living. So do yourself a favor, embrace the suck, do your work. In about 2-3 years, you'll be very successful. Check us out at fundingtraders.com, fundingfutures.com for our American brothers. Let's make some money.